Aquarium project update. Last time we were working on the plumbing, had the prototype plumbing made, and I've now doubled that, made some improvements on the solids lifting overflow hybrid, made it a little more compact. Also painted the back black with Krylon Fusion black gloss, painted the plumbing the same. Also painted the bottom of the tank with Rust-Oleum stone sienna, or sienna stone, kind of a medium stone. They had a lighter one that was white and a darker one they were out of that seemed to be just dark brown. But it looks like sand, kind of cool. We have the original plumbing over here with the hybrid solids lifting overflow prototype model that's kind of bulky. So trimmed up that bottom fitting, the bottom T there. It's I trimmed it up a little bit on the horizontal piece there. It's a little shorter, and the bottom piece is a little shorter, so the whole thing can sit deeper in the tank. The back side also then can be lower, which kind of creates the flow. Those have to be even. The front and the back portion of these have to be even. That's something that's kind of left out on some of these videos on the instructions for the do-it-yourself. So the loop on the back has to be even. It can't be lower. It could be higher, but it can't be lower. So if it is higher, it won't pull as fast. Just a little note. So again, the one on the right here is pulling from the bottom. There's holes drilled in a cap there that before I painted the bottom you could see in the reflection of the bottom of the tank, but now that it's painted you cannot see that. This tank is a custom made aquarium. Had someone's name on the bottom that said like made by, and its dimensions seem to be about 50 to 56 gallons. Not the 75 that I was hoping for. Anyhow, the one it's pulling from the bottom, then it overflows this standpipe. Standpipe's a little high. It needs to go down about 1/8 of an inch, and then it would pull a whole lot more. But no big deal. There's a lot of redundancy in this. So here's the newest do-it-yourself overflow. The cap there with some holes drilled. Those holes are smaller than my original one for some reason. I just didn't pay attention. I like the original one better. We'll see in a second. Here's my returns. There's one there. I can kind of turn those elbows to direct the flow. I had 2 spray bars built, but I just didn't like it. It's if I need the extra oxygenation, I may use one or both of them, but restricts the pump a little bit and really doesn't just causes a lot of chaos in the tank, a lot of bubbles. So here's the original, the larger holes I like. This piece of food stuck on the top there, and then here's the solids lifting overflow, just cranking. Before these go, I've got a piece of cardboard on the back, if you can see it there. It's just protecting the paint from when I was hanging the plumbing, so don't scratch it. So anyhow, those 4 go in here. That's 1-inch Spa Flex PVC, totally glueable. Go into my manifold here. I'm not sure if the manifold was done at the last video. Sorry for the shakiness there. Manifold's been custom made. All those pieces have been trimmed down pretty much. There's an extra port there for the nursery tanks that will eventually pour in there, and kind of a neat shot there of the water pouring down into the top of the filter. You can see a little blue hue there from the filter pad that I have in there that's filled up with activated carbon. The drip plate that was the bottom drawer, I shortened it a little bit, made it so it's only 2 inches. It's nicer now, and that gave me more room for filter pads. I've got a coarse filter there that's a swamp cooler pad, and then 2 high loft quilts. Quilter is batting material, pretty cheap stuff. Let's see if we can see anything. Any of the filtering action. I'm not doing a very good job of the camera here, sorry. But you can see it's working. Pulling some crud out of the water there. So that's polishing the water. And then we've got the biological filter down here. Water's raining down over the scrubbies. The scrubbies are just providing surface area for bacteria to grow that are part of the nitrogen cycle. It breaks down the ammonia from fish waste into nitrite and nitrate. That's what these little guys are for here. They're part of, I'm cycling the tank. So they're creating some ammonia for me. And then the filter can create can break that down to nitrite and then nitrate. Nitrate's less harmful to fish, and you can remove it with water changes or aquaponics. So some of the noise down in this filter right now, water level's a little low. I am conditioning some water right now. I've got a bucket with 7 gallons of water that I've added to it 1/4 of a 500 milligram vitamin C tablet that I crushed up. That's doing a chemical breaking of chloramine. Chloramine is a bond of ammonia and chlorine. It's really good disinfectant, and it doesn't corrode pipes, so it's really popular, and they use a lot of it, and it's really toxic to fish. And it's hard to get rid of. It's not really that hard because they make products that get rid of it. But what they do is they just break that bond, and they bond up. You end up with depending on what you use, you end up with chloride ions that will off-gas, and then you have, instead of ammonia, you have ammonium. It has an extra hydrogen, and it's not very toxic to fish, so when it's bound up as ammonium, your biological filter will break that ammonium down to nitrate and nitrite. But the commercial preparations have chemicals in it, and some of them have formaldehyde. Not good for food fish. So I'm just using vitamin C and acid to break the bond of the ammonia and chlorine that make chloramine, and I'm left with ammonium, dihydrogen vitamin C basically, and chloride ions. So the chloride ions will dissipate in about 24 hours with some oxygenation especially. So that's why the water is sitting out. And then when I add it to top it up, it won't be as noisy because the water level will be higher. Right now it's kind of raining underneath the biological filter and creating a little more noise. I probably mentioned that in the last video, but it's just time to add some water, and just wanted to mention how I condition the water instead of using a commercial preparation like Prime or Amquel. Those do the same thing. They bind up the ammonia into ammonium, throws off your test kit for a while, but the chemicals that are in it may or may not be safe. So I go the cheaper way and the more eco-friendly way. I do get a little bit of a drop in pH from using the vitamin C, but my pH in my water is about 8.4 anyhow. Unfortunately, it drops up a little below 8, but I may or may not have to adjust that. Again, the pump here creates a little bit of heat, so the heater is not on, and the pump is returning a little over 600 gallons an hour, or turning the tank 12 times, filtering every bit of the water every 5 minutes. So that's about it. As soon as the tank cycles here and the nitrate levels drop, I'll be able to add some cooler fish. Although I'm enjoying these guys. So anyhow, have a great day.